This is entry number 1 for my coronavirus log. I am about a month late into recording this video. Say hi to Chai.
Hi.
All right, this is for documenting purposes. This is possibly one of the craziest moments in my life right now. I am currently in my condo in BGC, Manila. We are under lockdown, meaning I can't leave the city. Though I think there's a small chance as a foreigner I could leave but never get to come back. And I live here. That's my dog. I'm also pretty much self-quarantined. I have a quarantine zone on my front door where deliveries stay in there for at least a day, if not a couple days, to hopefully kill off this coronavirus, currently called NCOV-19 or SARS-2. SARS-2 because it is 80% similar to the genetic code of SARS-1, though it is much less deadlier and much, much more contagious because it's less deadlier. All right, I am trying really hard not to get this thing. When I go outside, I wear a mask. Currently wearing a P100 respirator, which is supposed to be more intense than a normal N95 mask. We stocked up on supplies. How many supplies do you think we got?
Enough for 3 months?
Enough for 3 months. I'm hoping more than that since I'm eating less. Because I still want to lose weight, and ketones are supposed to make you healthy, and at the same time, healthy and fighting immune diseases. And at the same time, I had a goal to get down to 140, 145 pounds now for a little while. That would have been 50 pounds dropped in the last couple years. All right, so the journey for me in coronavirus started early. I think I was one of the earliest people looking at it. A lot of people close to me thought I was a little crazy for looking at it so intensely. But the thing that stood out to me was the growth rate. And I always started looking at this and freaking out. Probably started freaking out, and when I freaking out, I mean actually panicking, in January. For Valentine's Day, we almost did not travel, but we traveled to Palawan. And at this point, there was only in February, a couple tens of thousands. When I first started looking at it, I think even sub 1,000 in Wuhan mainly. Part of the reason is because I was in the Philippines, and Philippines is the first place non-Chinese country would not to have a death. So I started paying really close attention. I was worried it was going to go off. Most of my friends here were like, hey, don't worry, it doesn't survive in warm climates, things like that. I started getting more comfortable after Valentine's Day, towards the, like about a week after Valentine's Day. It looked like it was leveling off in China, and it didn't start to pick up in Italy and South Korea quite yet. I decided I had to go. So a lot of very important work stuff going on. It wasn't really going on in the U.S. yet. So I decided to get to the U.S. I first traveled through Europe right as it started breaking out in Italy, which scared me. I went there for 2 days. It's my last party. We threw a party. Deputy Prime Minister and the creator of the Luxembourg Space Agency was there. He cut our ribbon. And a bunch of my employees were sick, which was freaking me out. I tried hard not to touch anybody. I was hand sanitizing myself to the extreme. Now, I don't know if they were sick with the coronavirus. Probably not. But I was there for a couple days. Then I flew to the U.S., and in the U.S. it started breaking out more and more over the first week to 10 days that I was in the U.S. It was at, I think, less than 100 when I got there. Then Then over a week time, it rose up to about 1,000 people. And then that's kind of when shit hit the fan. At the same time, there was some cases near my condo in BGC starting to flare up for the first time. Also, my co-founder, Jason Dunn, who I was in Europe with, he traveled to Europe with me and then went to LA, different parts of the US. He ended up getting a bad fever and a horrible cough, and he thinks he had the coronavirus. I think it's unknown. But he's like, hey, he's better now. He's like, not a big deal from his vantage point. Big debate still on this. Yeah, I like to record more of these logs. But anyways, so about a week into the U.S., I had meetings the following week, and I was going to wait until those meetings to decide if I was coming back to Manila. It wasn't clear if I should just stay put, but it was clear the longer I waited, the higher risk I had of getting it while I traveled. Traveling in a plane is like a hot box of diseases here. So yeah, we hit about 1,000 people. I started, I went back into like freaking out mode. So when I freaked out the first time, I actually, when it was a little less than 10,000 cases I was kind of predicting. I used the math of the growth rates. I was like, all right, how many cases are going to be? I was fairly accurate. When it hit 100,000, I was predicting it would hit 150,000, so that was a little less. So about a month later, right around that time when it was hitting 100,000 worldwide, I redid the math, and I was like, shit. You look at the growth rate in the U.S., in a week, it's going to be 10,000 people. It's growing at, over 30% a day. You do that for 10 days straight, you're almost 10x. So it's going to go from 1,000 to 10,000. Worldwide, you were looking at 1 million cases within a month. And Manila was talking about maybe doing a lockdown on Manila. Completely sounded crazy at the time because there was only like, a dozen cases, maybe something like that. And so I kind of like, hey, get up. Shit. Gotta watch that now. She was licking that all over. This dog is like a fucking vacuum. We also stopped letting the dog go out. She has to pee and poop. Don't bite me. Her name's Chewy, and she likes to chew things. Yeah, so the dog's not allowed out because she might pick up germs out there. And so you looked at the growth rate. They were talking about locking down Manila, and then also stores are starting to run out of stuff. So I kind of talked to a few people, and I was like, all right, where do I want to hold this thing out in? I don't know. The U.S. seems not really be doing anything. My home, my girlfriend, my dog, my friends, my brother, my support system is in BGC. I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to fly out here. So I decided to buy a ticket. I had a flight in 6 hours. I went to Walmart, got a bunch of suitcases, packed that with what I could: beef jerky, nuts, coffee, the vinyl for this doorway, everything that I pretty much could pack it with, I did. And so I packed it and left, took off, had a mask on like 90% of the time. Maybe when I fell asleep for a little bit, the mask came off. Flew first class so I could be less away from people. It was expensive, but I did not want to be near people. And yeah, so I got to BGC, and then like the entire next few days was just panic because the stores were running out of stuff. They were talking about locking down maybe even the stores. I bought as much stuff as I potentially could, to kind of weather this storm. Who knows how long this storm is going to last? Every day there's a new development, more and more cases. So when I said there was going to be 1 million within a month worldwide, and 10,000 in a week, and a couple 100,000 by the end of the month, my numbers looked off. They were off the first time. They were a little too aggressive. I was thinking 150,000 cases, and it was at 100,000. This time they were off because they were too conservative. It went global. The reason it was too aggressive the first time is China's methods seem to have worked, at least with the statistics they were reporting. This time it's much, it's gone global, and the governments of the world have not been able to contain it. It's growing. The growth rate is growing faster. we're gonna have 1 million cases. It's it just crossed 200,000 cases today. We're gonna have over 1 million cases globally, worldwide, within a month. I just can't see. I mean, not excuse me, not within a month. Within a couple weeks now. I can't see that not happening. What's today? Is it the 20th?
No.
Probably about between.
19?
I'd say about 2 weeks, 3 weeks maximum from now.
18.
We're gonna have 1 million cases worldwide. I haven't done the math to see where the Philippines is gonna be, but my quick guess is at over 1,000. It's a couple hundred cases now, 200 cases. That'll be over 1,000 in less than a week, for sure, maybe sooner. And once it hits 1,000, it's just gonna keep growing. They are doing aggressive lockdowns and quarantining here. It's insane to see the Manila roads empty. Hopefully that works, but this thing has a really long incubation, and so it might have already spread. I am currently doing what I do, which is think, what the fuck can I do? First, I was just panicking to take care of myself and my family here. But now I'm thinking, all right, we're getting hit with the 1918 flu, the Great Depression, all that kind of stuff, pretty much all at once. And it's the world's going to go insane. And so I've started thinking about diagnostics a lot lately, even before this. I actually hired a doctor and a biomedical engineer here in the Philippines part-time. I was going to ramp up that team anyways to start looking at things we could do diagnostic testing on. I have a big, grander future vision for that. I think you can solve most diseases with early detection of all the biomarkers in the body. But one biomarker to test for, I think, is coronavirus, particularly if you have it. So I'm starting to think, how can I create or help create some way to do the diagnostics faster than we're currently doing them and more early detection? It seems that the current detective methods aren't early enough, and they're really, really slow. This is probably, or I'm hoping that it's actually a worthless effort, and that would mean that we've got the testing we need. Testing clearly, if we can get the testing done correctly, it can clearly help solve this issue, because you can quarantine those that haven't; they need to stay inside. Me, my brother, a lot of other people I've talked to, some of my best friends, we all are a little bit hypochondriac. You get the slightest cough, I'm a little bit run out of breath talking here. It's like, oh shit, shortness of breath. You're panicking that you got it. I've got some meds, oxygen concentrators, stuff like that to kind of help if things kind of happen here. Chloroquine was a medication that maybe could show some, early promise. Yeah. So, currently residing in here, this disease is crazy. It has a higher mortality rate for older people, the immunocompromised, sick people, healthcare workers. Healthcare workers have a 15% death rate, even the young ones. That is really, really high for this virus. They're not sure why yet. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Heard different theories. One of the theories being because they're exposed to the virus constantly, it maybe can cause it to spread more rapidly. It's scary. I've got some friends in the healthcare industry. We'll have to see how this goes. I'm going to try to do more of these video logs as the world unwinds around me. But now it's game night. I'm getting into game night. You ready to have some wine, babe? We're going to have some game night. Drink some wine. Maybe you'll hear more from me soon.